Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight at Home Artist Project. I'm Jacqueline, and on screen we've got Tony, our technical director, and our two artists for the evening, Joseph Valle Hoag and Will Taylor. And we are collective artists working from home to cultivate new work. So if you're interested in supporting us or the work you see here tonight, please consider donating what you can by contributing to our PayPal account or by purchasing a ticket at our Eventbrite link using the links below or the buttons on our support page at our website. Your generous donations are split up between operating costs for At Home Artist Project, the artists you see here on screen tonight, and efforts being made to help keep open Shakespeare's Globe in London. Please feel free to leave comments and questions for our performers and the administrative team in the chat at the right, and we'll be happy to address these comments and questions during a live Q&A following our performance with our musicians. So without further ado, let's introduce our artists for the evening. Tonight we've got Joseph Valle Hoag coming to you from Concord, Massachusetts, and Will Taylor coming to you from Williamsburg in Brooklyn, New York. And we're so glad to have the both of them here. They're going to play, we're going to be showcasing some videos of their work on acoustic guitar as well as some vocals. So without further ado, Joseph, would you like to introduce us to your music?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm Joe. I'm coming at you from Concord, Massachusetts, but I usually live in Washington Heights in Manhattan. Very happy to be here tonight. Just thank you, Jacqueline, Tony, and Mariah, who connected us together. Just a little bit about me. I'm a classically trained vocalist, and I work for a local parish on the Upper West Side as a musician, and I also make a living as an actor-musician on the stage. I'm currently in the process of writing an album. I hope to make a demo out of that as soon as that's something that's like feasibly possible to do. And the three songs that you're about to hear are, if they're not going to be on the demo, they'll certainly be on the hypothetical album somewhere in the future. Because in the video that you're about to see, I play all the songs back to back. I'll just introduce them all right now. And so the first one you're going to hear is called Covered Ground, and I wrote that song when I was 16 years old. And obviously it's changed a lot since then, because that was almost a decade ago. But I just never stopped playing it. So we're going to play it again tonight. And that's a very happy song. It's about as happy as it gets. The second song is called Come Up With Nothing, which is a fun story. That was two bad songs that I wrote when I was 18. And then when I was 19, I took the parts that I liked from both of them and turned it into one song that became Come Up With Nothing. The third one is called Anthem. The name doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I played it for a friend of mine who jokingly referred to it as an anthem after hearing it. I laughed so hard it stuck. So, if it changes after now, maybe, but for now it's Anthem. And I wrote that song in January. So obviously you're going to be hearing me on acoustic guitar in a janky studio that I made out of bed sheets in my brother's childhood bedroom. So that's fun. I hope you like that. And hopefully when I get these recorded, they will be orchestrated for full band. And in the case of Come Up With Nothing, that includes a horn trio, and for Anthem, actually a full orchestra. So I hope you enjoy.
Running out in the rain, headed towards the only thing I didn't know that I was looking for. What I found was so much better than I thought it could be. Now I'm looking for a place to go. Hey, there's so much more to life than I thought there was. Now I only want to live in too far. The glory days are right ahead, we can live in them now. Am I off-putting when I say that I love you? Is it unnecessary? I don't know. I just wish you'd call when I left for home today. And I know that I'll be fine. Don't turn around when I try to say your name. I won't have any stupid things left to say. I'll be okay if you don't turn the page. There's nothing there for you or me. I'm already moving on. I cannot stand here waiting for you. I'm already out the door. I can't make up these lies anymore. I'm already headed out. You're no good for me, and that is true. I'll be gone for good, and I just found the strength to tell you. So when you start to scream, don't come and scream at me. I think you know I need to let my conscience be. Just don't look back to the time when I knew well, when all my dreams were underwhelmed. I'm already moving on. I cannot stand here waiting for you. I'm already out the door. I can't make up these lies anymore. I'm already headed out. You're no good for me, and that is true. I'll be gone for good, and I just found the strength to tell you. Then I start second guessing. Then I start unrepressing. Then I know that I'm on my way. Come up with nothing. Come up with nothing. When you're lonely, know that this is not the end. Still got tricks and games for you to break and mend. If you're lost, you can look to the sun. It's more reliable than me. I'm looking. She'll forget about me if I keep my conscience clean. No other girl will come and take my self-esteem. I'll walk away from the wreck of my old self and come out someone who I hate. I'm already moving on. I cannot stand here waiting for you. I'm just found the strength to tell you. Then I start second guessing. Then I start unrepressing. Then I know that I'm on my way. Come up with nothing. Come up with nothing. It's been over 3 months now, and I just started feeling down. Empty smiles, worn out eyes, and blank stare make me think it's been longer than it has. Either looking past the time, empty company and wine, wanting something more, something less. All the things September making us. I made the choice to love you. I made the choice to leave you too. Think I'm better off without you, and this change is overdue. I wanted so bad to need you. I couldn't see through my cliche. After everything we've been through, you keep pushing me away. Empty rooms and bare drywall. There's no one left to catch my fall. Noise and women circling the drain. I can't tell the difference because my parents died again. My heart can't take much more. I'm freezing cold between two doors. And if I fixated or my ears stopped ringing for one damn second, I only want one bed, and I don't want to share it with anyone. I wouldn't want Maria to see us now. 'Cause I made the choice to love you. I made the choice to leave you too. Think I'm better off without you, and this
Thank you so much, Joe, for sharing that with us. Those are some really heartfelt lyrics, and we are excited for that album to come out. So, thank you so much for sharing. And next up, we've got Will Taylor, who has some wonderful new music for us as well. Will, would you like to share a little bit about your music?
Hello. Yeah, I'm gonna do 3 songs in this video, and the first one is called A Wolf and a Moon, and it's about the nature of attraction. And then the next one's about divorce, and then the next one is I guess you'd say about a rebirth. And the first and the third one are pretty brand new. I really haven't performed them before. And the first one, I don't even think anyone's ever heard it. The second one is a little bit older, but not that old. So I'm excited to share them with you guys. And I just wanted to mention I released a couple singles last month. So if you want to check those out on Spotify or anywhere else where you get your music, check those out. Thanks for listening.
Once again I found you. Molecules are bound to stir my desire. I'm smelling now the nature of you. Burn again, bathe me. Come again and make me. You're the very sunset gone too soon. I get lost in my own light. 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 Burn again, heal me. Come again, fill me in you. We're the wooded beauty, a wolf and a moon. I get lost in my own light. 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 I get lost. I get lost. I get lost. Hello, my name's Will. Welcome to my bedroom, and I'm playing a couple songs that I wrote right here in this bedroom very recently in this shutdown. That one being one of them. That one I wrote just like last week, and it's called A Wolf and a Moon. And this next one, I am gonna play one more that I did write in this room, but this next one I didn't. This one is a song I wrote, I don't know, a few months ago, and I wanted to write something not about myself and not about my feelings, so I exploited my friend's feelings.
No, actually, I really meant for this song to be kind of a comfort to a person who was going through something really rough. A good friend of mine was going through a divorce, and he had changed his name with a hyphen, added a hyphen for the marriage, and with divorce, had to change it back. So I wrote this song. It's called Hyphens, and essentially it's about letting go. You can wrap his name in silk and see it go. A parade of all the filth we're being told. When the rockets of the heart explode, when the rockets of the heart get cold, maybe just let him take it away. Maybe just let him take that hyphen away. It's only a mark beside your name. Maybe just let him take it away. You won't get far holding on to the hyphens and the order. No, you won't get far holding on to the hyphens and the order. You could leave that tower and find a taller one, and in the meantime maybe we'll climb up to the sun. When the rockets of the heart explode, when the rockets of the heart get cold, maybe just let him take it away. Maybe just let him take that hyphen away. It's only a mark beside your name. Maybe just let him take it away. You won't get far holding on to the hyphens and the order. No, you won't get far holding on to the hyphens and the order. Maybe just let him take it away. Maybe just let him take that hyphen away. It's only a mark beside your name. Maybe just let him take it away. So this last one I'll do for y'all is a song I wrote on the very first day of the quarantine. I wanted to write something hopeful, and this came out of my mouth and my fingers. Also, I wanted to tell you guys, if you want to find me on Instagram, Will Taylor Artist is how to find me, Will Taylor Artist, and you can find me on Spotify as well. I released a couple singles last month and would love for you to check them out. Would love to connect. Thank you for listening. And thanks to At Home Artist for having me. Soft light in the early air, needed a week to fade away, needed a week to not be it all turn gold. Are you a garden or a god? In the morning I found I could go on. No more starting, no more facade. In the morning I run and I could go on. I could go on. Room temp, shedding skin. All is hot that's been kept within. Not even you know what shape it was in, until it all turned gold. Are you a garden or a god? In the morning I found I could go on. No more starting, no more facade. In the morning I run and I could go on. I could go on. Are you a garden or a god? In the morning I found I could go on. No more starting, no more facade. In the morning I run and I could go on. 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 Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Will. Those were some really beautiful lyrics as well. And you could feel the emotion with which you were writing when you wrote those songs. So nice to see this happening from artists' homes. So that wraps up our 2 performances for the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. If you're still here, please don't forget to donate, like, and subscribe using the links below and on our website. So moving on, we're going to go ahead and get started with our question and answer session using some of the comments in the chat that you've left at the right. So we'll just go ahead and read through those. We've got some comment on the interior decorating. Okay, there's nothing to hide there. We're all artists working from home, right? So we're making do with what we can, and that's part of being part of this project, I think. Going forward, Jason Lewis, he asked this specifically to Will, but I'm going to say that he was a late viewer. I'd like to hear the answer to this question from both of you, if that's all right. What is the process for making your music? Would you like to elaborate on maybe how you came up with inspiration for a few of these songs that we didn't get to hear in your intros in those videos?
Sure. So for me, it's kind of like excavating the song from the music. So I'll play around on the guitar, and I very rarely have the lyrics before the music, and then I'll just kind of sing along gibberish or whatever, and lots of voice memos later, the words start to become clearer, and I tend to find words that I like the sound of and not necessarily know what the song is trying to mean before it somewhat comes together and hopefully makes sense.
Lovely. I like that you kind of feel it out from a lot of different avenues before you put it together and make it all into one. Joseph, how about you?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different with every song. When I perform live, uh, people like to make fun of me because I'll start every song. I'll say I wrote this song for a girl, which isn't always the case, but they make fun of me because it is the case with several of them. But I'm actually kind of the opposite of Will because I almost always get the lyrics first. I'll get an idea for a lyrical hook and then I'll start writing music around that. And the other thing is, the guitar is almost always the last thing I add to the song. I'll actually compose with like sheet music in front of me, and I'll write it all in, and then I have to do this thing that I hate but I keep doing, where I have to learn my own songs. And so once I've got it all written down, I'll be like, okay, how do I play what I just wrote? And then once I've played it, I'll be like, okay, so like the lick needs to go there. I can change this. This needs to happen. But and sometimes I'll just listen to a song and be like, I want to write a song like that, and then I will. It's a little bit different every time.
Awesome. And I think that's kind of what gives us an interesting repertoire, right? Is that we arrive at different, I guess, different projects, different conclusions, different art pieces, sometimes differently every time. And I think each one is inspired by a different thought, a different idea. And I think that's true across music and fine art and any other kind of genre. So nice to see that communicates across the board. All right, so let's keep going. Um, let's see. Another question by Jason Lewis. This is actually for you and I, Tony. For AHAP, do you see this as an intro to music as part of your company to showcase more musicians, artists, or do you hope that this evolves into incorporating music into your theater work? Interesting. I don't know. I think that's there's maybe two parts to this answer. We at Home Artist Project like to include artists of all genres, so musicians, playwrights, actors, everyone included, in theater as well as just as musicians who are vocalists and composers. But I think the other great part about that is that there's definitely room for music to be infused across other projects that we do, including plays. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just we're all about experimenting and have as many avenues as possible. Like we're doing a dance piece in 2 weeks. We're doing, we're thinking about doing a poetry week. And we're really just trying to incorporate as many artists as possible and experiment in this new medium and see what we can do and see what sticks and what doesn't. But yeah, so I definitely see it in our future in any capacity.
Awesome. Yeah, I think yeah, we can agree on that. So going forward, Andrew Shear asks, have you all been more or less creative these days? I think in other words, maybe how has COVID-19 affected your creativity and your productivity from home? And to follow that up, what have you been listening to these days? Maybe one informs the other. If you'd both like to answer that for us.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm lucky enough to actually make my living as a full-time musician. So depending on how you define creativity, I mean, I'm creative every day. But in terms of like the production of my own material, I've done basically nothing but like sit in front of my computer notating music this whole time, and that's that's been really terrible and just it takes forever, and 6 hours later I'm like, wow, I wrote 6 measures. And but I've gotten a lot of work done, so in that case, because I don't need to go to the church and warm up and work with the organist and go to that audition, I can just write all day. In terms of what I've been listening to, let's go to my Spotify. I can just tell you. Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties is dropping a live album in the summer, and they just dropped a new single from that. So I've been listening to Rosa and Rosita live from Asbury Park. I've also been listening to a lot of Anton Dvorak, one of my personal faves. I love Dvorak. Poulenc, a lot of Poulenc. And immediately before we all isolated ourselves. A band called Hot Mulligan dropped an album called You'll Be Fine that I didn't realize would be my isolation album, but I've listened to it basically every day. So that's been a lot of fun. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know about that Aaron Rest and the Roaring Twenties album. I will definitely be looking into that. And nice to know what you've been listening to. Will, how about you?
So the beginning of the shutdown, I was writing a ton, and every day I tried to write at least one song, and I was posting them. So I think after a couple weeks of that, um, that slowed down a little bit for me, and I was recording and focusing on releasing the couple singles that I released. And now I'm getting a little bit back into writing some more songs, but the beginning was very productive with that. I think that I was so, I mean, I'm not excited for the pandemic, but I was excited to have the time to just write all day and not run around the city. So I feel like it's been pretty productive for me, and I know that there are a lot of artists that where this is time of reflection and time of, and that's totally fine too. I don't think it has to be a productive period. Um, so I'm also trying to like give myself that permission on some days. But in terms of what I've been listening to, I haven't been listening to as much as I normally do. I'm normally voracious with music, and I want to hear everything that's coming out. But for some reason, I haven't been going to that. But there are two things that I really have been loving. One is Henry Jameson's new songs. He released some singles and leading to an EP. I don't know if you guys listen to him, but I just love I love his work. And then Angelo De Augustine, I also really love his new single that's called Santa Barbara. So I really just a handful of songs that I've been kind of listening to over and over.
Awesome. Okay, I think sometimes it takes listening to the same song over and over to really get what you need out of it. Right. So nice to know what you have been listening to. I think quarantine albums are definitely isolation albums are definitely a thing. I think I have one as well. And Will, to your point, it's kind of, I think for a lot of creative people, this has been sort of a breath to maybe slow down and do some more self reflection, and then have the energy to get back up and do some more creative things afterwards. And then, Joe, like you said, there's definitely a difference between doing your creative work every day and then working on yourself creatively. And both of those can be taxing in different ways. So it's nice that we have this time to kind of divvy that up. Great. Okay, so we'll keep going through the chats. Viana Segura asks, have you guys thought about how you can perform in the post COVID-19 days? Would you consider doing more live stream showcases such as this one? So I know that before all of this happened, we all had lots of plans to do lots of things that are no longer happening. I'm not sure what the both of you had planned, performance wise or anything. But I guess to that end, do you have any plans that you're rearranging or that you're hoping to focus on after? And like Biana says, maybe that includes a live stream performance.
I I was supposed to have a show on May 3rd at Rockwood, Stage 3, Rockwood Music Hall, and that didn't happen, obviously. And that has been rescheduled for December. I do a Christmas show every year, and so that's on the calendar. I don't know if it'll happen, but that's the only thing. That's like the nearest thing that's a live performance that's on my calendar. And in terms of live streaming stuff, I am definitely um, I'm definitely open to exploring that. I'm sure there will be something, but I'm kind of more, I guess, leaning towards posting videos that are not live streams. I find that the live streams, the audiences have dwindled a little, and maybe I'll sort of find my way with that, but I'm kind of enjoying the shorter posting of videos.
Yeah, so I had a lot of work that was canceled. Almost all, in the course of a weekend, I lost like 10 or 12 jobs. I mean, most notably, I sing every week at this parish that I already talked about. So that's gone. The composer Kit Walkley hired me to sing at Carnegie Hall. That was supposed to be, I can't even remember now. It was supposed to be sometime in March. That just never happened. That's theoretically rescheduled, but they haven't sent me the time for when that will be. But that was cool. That was going to be my Carnegie Hall debut. Um, I also had a concert. This one was not so much canceled as pushed back because I hadn't actually booked the time yet, which is sort of fortunate in retrospect. But I was going to put on a concert and basically play through my album, which has not been made yet, to raise money to then produce said album. So that's theoretically happening also sometime in the future, but there's no point in trying to schedule it now, I feel like. So I'm gonna wait on that. I'm not in any hurry. I've been getting a lot of work done. In terms of performance after the fact, I consider myself to, a lot of my work is live theater, and it's kind of scary looking forward, going forward, thinking about how that's going to change. I think it might take a while for things to sort of find a way to operate. In the meantime, I'm personally going to try to shift my career more towards music and less acting. Obviously, I won't say no to any acting jobs, but the focus is going to have to be toward my music, which I think is going to make a recovery sooner. The other thing is I've actually been doing a lot of live stream concerts. I did one on my YouTube page, and I've been doing a bunch on my my personal Facebook to like friends and family. But like Will said, after the first few weeks, the audience has kind of dwindled. And the last time I did it, it was like a fistful of people. And I love performing, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. So something like this is fun, where it's we get a bunch of people together and do a performance and like share our thoughts and our creativity. But in terms of me just saying like, hey guys, listen to me play, I'm not sure how often I can do that and still make it like viable as a way to make money, essentially busking online.
Yeah, that's wow, I hadn't really thought of it as busking online, but that kind of is what it comes down to sometimes. And I'm sorry the both of you lost so much work. That's definitely something that a lot of people can relate to right now. So in the face of that, we are glad that you are able to be here with us, sharing your music and your talents. I look forward to hearing about future concerts. I hope that they're able to still continue and to still happen. Interesting, your point about the viewers dwindling. I think in the beginning of this, it was obviously, it's still scary, but something that was very new, and so I think people were very eager to put out art and to see art. And we at Home Artist Project would like to keep that going. And so that's why we host things like this. And we're excited to bring artists together and continue the discussion. But I also see what you're saying, as far as like posting videos, that's something that viewers can find a little more easily on their own time. And maybe that helps. Career shifts, I think we're all probably thinking about that right now. But we are glad to have you both here with us, and we're glad to still be, making music and making art in the pockets where we can, in the midst of all this. So thank you so much again. All right, so I think we'll probably go to maybe one more question and then wrap it up for the night. Jason Lewis asked again, what drives you both to want to be musicians? What inspired you to pick up an instrument and write? Kind of a loaded question. I feel like we touched on a little bit of that, but if you have maybe a something new to share about that, please, we'd love to hear it.
I mean, I've been singing my entire life. I started as a vocalist in like the children's choir at my local parish, And it's just I knew from a very early age that I only really felt alive when I was singing. I didn't pick up the guitar until my 8th grade year. I was in 8th grade when I picked up the guitar. And I still primarily am a vocalist. I make most of my I've mentioned it a few times. I make most of my living doing sacred music, actually. Um, but I've always preferred like music. I'd rather like put on an LP than listen to than watch a movie. If someone's rewatch a TV show, or like, no, I want to listen to that album again. So I mean, I listened to so many artists who were playing these amazing songs on guitar that I wanted to do myself. And at some point I was just like, I should just do that. I don't know if this is really answering the question. It's just like I could never have really imagined myself doing anything else.
I so I was a dancer all through my childhood, and started acting and doing musicals and singing. And I wasn't a very good singer, and I always dreamed of being a good singer. And it was the thing that just did not come easily to me. Um, that dancing was just a piece of cake. It was never. I just was born doing it. And I worked so hard at singing, and that led me to doing Broadway shows and singing in a lot of musicals. But the period where I started writing music um, kind of came out of another shutdown, which was I was in a Broadway show, and there was a strike. It was a stagehand strike, and so we couldn't go to do the show for a few weeks. And during that period, I just felt compelled to pick up the guitar, which I hadn't really played very much, and write a ton of songs. So during like a 3-week period, a whole lot came out, and that's when I started and realized that like it was going to be something that was really meaningful in my life to me. And I really just started sharing the music only a couple like 2 years ago. I had taken a long break from it. My career has kind of led me to different avenues, and directing and choreographing and acting and things. And then I returned to the music a couple of years ago, and decided that I needed to really share the music in a way that I hadn't before.
Thank you both so much for sharing those stories with us. I think it's always interesting and heartfelt to hear where artists got their start and their inspiration, and how they got to where they are today. So whether you've been doing it your whole life, or it's something you picked up when you weren't quite expecting. I don't know. It's kind of like it's meant to happen when it's supposed to. So thank you so much for sharing your time and your talents and your stories with us, and for being a part of At Home Artist Project. We super appreciate it. We'll go ahead and wrap up our discussion for the evening. So thank you all so much to all our viewers who are watching now. Thank you for being with us and sticking with us, and for supporting. Tonight we featured these wonderful musicians. We're hoping to feature more in the future. Thank you for watching this production. And if you like what you saw, please don't forget to donate at the PayPal links and the event links below in the description, or the support page on our website. We're a small collective of artists and a small company. So far, we've raised over $1,000 to go to artists who are struggling during this pandemic, and we believe in that cause and would like to keep it going. Please know that any donations made during this production will also in part be donated to Keeping Open Shakespeare's Globe in London, which is right now in very much need of help from people like you and artists like us. So please don't forget that part when donating. So thank you. Follow, like, subscribe, Facebook, Instagram. We've got all the handles. We're there. We've got our YouTube channel. Please feel free to reach out on any of those channels. And of course, we're always looking for new artists to collaborate with. So whether you're a playwright, a dancer, an artist, an actor, a musician, so on, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your ideas and expand our network and keep this conversation going, because I think we as artists could all use it, and it's important to stick together in times like these. And thank you so much again. We hope to see you next time at Home Artist Project. Hope you can donate, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you, everyone.